This is Perp back with another video, and I just got done watching the first season of Akuma Kun. This is a brand new anime series coming out of Netflix. It's about 12 episodes long. Each episode obviously ranging from like 20 minutes if you cut out like the intro and the end credits where they kind of do little skits and stuff like that. This is a very fascinating series that I'm surprised, just based on the premise and kind of the tone of this whole entire series, they didn't release this last month, but it is what it is. This is following Ichiro. But this follows our main character, Ichiro. He is the new Akuma Kun, which literally, how I view it, is kind of like the Sorcerer Supreme. It's more of like a mantle. His father, Shingo, was the previous one. He's also has kind of a partner that goes by the name Mephisto the Third. His father also was by Shingo's side. I'm just gonna call it the AK, just to make it kind of short and sweet. But this was really fascinating because we're introduced to this interesting world where it's just like demons and humans kind of interact with one another very frequently, and we got a lot of interesting protagonists and antagonists. The first kind of character that we get introduced to outside of our main two goes by the name of Grimmery, which I liked her whole introduction, how we saw this woman pretty much making a pact with this demon Grimmery to kind of use her daughter as like a vessel. But this kind of gives our introduction to our main characters, and what our main characters pretty much do is kind of investigate these paranormal or demonic kind of things that go around this town, essentially like some Sherlock Holmes. It's very Sherlock Holmes-esque, and there are a lot of action sequences where they're using spells and whatnot. Very much was giving me Full Metal Alchemist vibes, you know what I'm saying? But I like this first season because we really focus on Ichiro's character and his kind of backstory and his relationship with either his father or somebody that's trying to work with him, and ultimately ends up becoming his best friend by this end of this first season with Mephisto. And we focus on a lot of these different relationships between demons and humans and demons, how they interact with one another, what they're willing to do as far as humans to gain success, which means they have to make a pact with the devil or make a pact with a demon for said talent and whatnot, which I really like that theme. And we have other people that, that are antagonists that are kind of one-offed. There's this one character that wants to eat the flesh of Satan, and Satan also makes an appearance in this as well. So it definitely has a lot of different elements going into it that are familiar, like Full Metal Alchemist, Supernatural, things like that, that are a constant theme throughout. And just Ichiro's relationship and his connections with certain characters, because he's very blunt, doesn't really have any filter, doesn't really know how to deal with human emotions and stuff like that. So when you see somebody like Mephisto, and how he interacts with his family, and I really liked episodes like Father and True Intentions. Those later half episodes really bring things full circle. But the main big bad, or the big antagonist of season one, it comes from Ichiro's past, is this character that goes by the name of Strafaya, and he's pretty much like a fallen angel. But the only thing that kind of is able to kind of get in his way is Shingo and this whole Flute of Solomon, which kind of chooses who is the next AK. But it also depends on your happiness and that whole theme of Ichiro trying to figure out his happiness. And we also learn that he loves hotcakes, and there's a whole thing that kind of gets played out throughout this first season. Really dope characters that they introduce, like Grimmarie. She pops up a lot to kind of help Ichiro and Mephisto try to figure certain cases out, figure out certain situations, but she always is trying to go for Ichiro's heart, you know, and that becomes a theme. Even Satan kind of looks at Ichiro like, oh, I'm gonna come for you one day, when you're least expecting it. So maybe Satan will be the big ultimate villain, but it definitely looks like Grimmarie is going to be somewhat of a antagonist going into season 2, because how they ended that with that cliffhanger was really interesting. And Ichiro having to face off with Strafaya, that was a really dope clash to kind of see all the ones that he loves or cares about. He acts like he doesn't care, but he does really care about them. All of them kind of perish, and that kind of leads him to be motivated to do what he has to do to kind of save everybody. And it was a really well told first season, kind of just giving us the introduction to the world and how certain things work, hinting at things possibly in the futures, like the 12 apostles, which I'm curious to see how that is going to go about as far as how they're going to introduce them. Maybe they play a bigger part in season 2. We get to see a couple more of those, because they're explained in here that they're kind of spread out throughout the world and stuff like that, so they couldn't help out the situation at that time. But I'm curious to see who these 12 apostles are, what are going to be some of the bigger threats, because Strafaya was definitely a very big threat. You know what I'm saying? Things could have definitely went left for all the characters. It could have just ended right there. Who was that woman that was kind of bound into change that Strafaya was trying to unleash very earlier on in Ichiro's life, which led to Shingo pretty much adopting Ichiro, and the story was pretty much set from there. And I also like Mephisto's character as well, him being like a half demon, half human, and him constantly getting picked on for that, or people just kind of throwing jabs at him, and seeing what he was capable of doing when his back was against the wall. I like a lot of the side characters, like Mio. Mio was really dope. She makes sure that these two pay up rent on time and stuff like that. That was really dope. I really liked that episode that goes by the name of Father. That gave, you know, Ichiro a really dope time to kind of get some character development. The animation is really clean. I love the 2D, you know, they don't go full 3D or anything like that. They really stick to the traditional 2D aesthetic. It has very bright, vivid kind of imagery. I just really enjoyed this. Some of my favorite episodes, like I said, was like Father, True Intentions, Celebration. I like really all of these episodes, because it's almost like them trying to solve a case that leads into something bigger once you get towards the later half of the season, which I really enjoy. They do a lot of setting up season 2 and future seasons, and I want to see where this goes. But if you have gotten around to checking this out yourself, let me know your thoughts on this series. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.